Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Mary. Now, as you know or can just tell, I absolutely love reptiles, critters, amphibians. I preach how much they make great pets, but you know, in today's video, we need to talk about the things that you really should consider thinking about before jumping in. Although they are amazing, there are going to be some negatives. I mean, not really negatives, but things you really need to think about if you're going to be okay with before diving into getting into reptiles. Now, obviously, depending on what species, what kind of animal you're going to get, everybody's going to be a little bit different. But basically, they all are kind of in the same genre. So that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the negative or the things you really need to think about if you're okay with before getting into them. So before we do that, it would mean the world to me if you hit that subscribe button, notification bell, follow me on all socials. Links are going to be down below. Like always, I am going to be at the Del Mar Fair Reptile Expo this weekend on Sunday. So if you are there, see me, come say hi, let's talk, let's take a photo, but I will be there this Sunday. Anyways, let's dive into it. Now, like I said, every species is going to be a little bit different, and not all reptiles are going to need to eat insects, feeders, bugs. But the majority of the reptiles are going to have to eat bugs, which means you are now going to be a bug keeper. Yes, you're going to have to keep either crickets, mealworms, hornworms, or if you have a snake, snakes eat, unfortunately, mice. So depending if your snake is going to be on frozen thawed or you're going to have live mice at your house, are you going to be okay with that? And are you going to be responsible enough to take care of feeders? Now, I know people just think, oh, it's just a bug, it's not that big of a deal. Well, it honestly is, because a lot can go wrong. You, first of all, don't want, a bunch of crickets escaping in your house. It's happened to me. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but yes, I do hear them cricketing in the middle of the night. Yes, I have had some in my bed. So if I'm fine with that. I've been beyond that, but my husband will be like, Mary, there's a freaking cricket in the bed. I have heard of people having like a roach colony and it escaping into their houses and them having an infestation of roaches. Now, this is only one time I've heard this happen, but I mean, you have to consider you're going to have bugs in your house, and I'm going to keep it real with you. Like, they don't smell the best. You have to make sure you're cleaning after your bugs. You have to feed the bugs. So first I was kind of like skeptical with crickets. Didn't want to touch them. I was just like very kind of freaked out, like grabbing them. Now I'll go right in there, unfazed. But in the beginning, it is, it's not something you adjust to. I mean, I adjusted to it, but like the first couple times, it's going to be weird. I mean, they're going to be creepy and gross, but then you get over it. But you just have to consider that. And then also, if you have a pack-man of frog toads, I mean, a lot of critters do eat pinkies, so frozen thawed pinkies, or sometimes animals don't do frozen thawed because they weren't raised on it. You're going to have to feed live. Like, are you going to be okay to get a live mouse, little live mouse? I've never fed live, so I don't know how the whole deal is. But are you going to be okay with that? Snake I made sure she was on frozen thawed because I couldn't deal with having a live mouse. If you're going to have frozen thawed, you're going to have them in your freezer. You're also going to have like some kind of way to get them. For me, I'm really lucky. I have a reptile store close to me, so I can get all that fresh and quick. But like Petco, honestly, is not the best place to buy all these feeders, and that's kind of sometimes people's only option. There are a lot of great companies online where you can buy feeders from that are better, but be able to be responsible enough to have a set feeding schedule for your reptiles and being able to weigh them. I mine once a month, but especially when you get a new reptile, you want to be constantly weighing them to making sure that they are gaining weight, not losing weight. I always like to feed my reptiles in the early morning because that way they can get all the UVB and heat and properly digest. So just being responsible enough to have a schedule, and this is so important. Most of these reptiles are going to need some humidity, a good miss, especially if you have a crested gecko, a toad, a Pac-Man frog? Are you going to be able to be responsible enough to making sure that they are hydrated and have the proper humidity, have a little thermostat, and everything is set right? You're going to have a healthy animal. They're going to want to eat. They're going to be happy. It's all very important and something that definitely should not be looked over. Let's dive into the second one, and this is something that gives me paranoia on the daily. That is why I put a camera in my room. Pretty much every animal, any critter, whether it be a toad, whether it be a praying mantis, is going to need some kind of UVB. Most animals are going to need a heating pad or an overhead heat, like heat lamp. Heat. I had to put a camera in my room because I am paranoid that I don't trust my timers to make sure that they turn off on time. I am worried that like my reptiles would get burnt, but I know they could like move from the heat, like heating basking area. My paranoia, and I shouldn't even be saying this because I feel like when you say stuff, it just manifests it. I'm paranoid that I'm going to run a heat lamp and it's going to catch on fire. So that is something you always have to kind of think about. Like, I mean, that's not everybody's biggest deal, but you are going to have some type of heat in an area where it's safe. I've just seen so many horror stories of like heat bulbs falling over, breaking, like having little fires. I know a lot of reptile keepers have rooms with heating lamps. They keep a little fire extinguisher because of this. Have little kids come over. I make sure I tell their parents, like, those heating lamps, make sure they do not touch them because they will burn their fingers. Make sure they don't knock it over. So you also have to be responsible with making sure that you change them every month, which leads into my next thing, money. When it comes to reptiles, money is always going to be a topic. People always say reptiles are very low maintenance. I don't say that. I mean, maybe like 10 years ago things were so much cheaper, but when it comes to their fresh veggies, you're gonna have to buy them their fresh veggies. Feeders are not cheap. I mean, although they're just crickets, they add up, and you need to do a variety of stuff. When, let's say you buy like a small baby snake and you start off with a small enclosure, you're gonna be constantly needing to do upgrades. And there are great reptile companies that make great habitats, but they're still going to be pricey, and the substrate needs to be changed. If you don't change the substrate, you're going to get mites. Making sure that you have a spare little cash, because although reptiles don't need to go to the vet as often as like cats and dogs, they do get sick. Things can happen. So making sure you always have money for their UVB, their substrate, their food. So we talked about heat. We talked about the feeders. Now let's move on to something I feel like people don't really discuss that often, and that is cleaning after your reptiles, the reptile bathroom. Now let me tell you, although like, you know, every bathroom doesn't smell the best, let's just be real. Your reptile is most likely going to be in your house and they're going to go to the bathroom in their enclosure. It's not going to smell the best. I am a very, very, very sensitive to smells. Like one little thing that smells funky, I start gagging. So that was something I had to adjust to when it came to reptiles. I mean, it's only obvious that that's going to happen, but being able to be okay with the smell. And let me just tell you, my corn snake is not doing like little clean poop. They're splatters, they're messy. Same with the bearded dragon. Mess. You're gonna have to deal with mess. It's not gonna be pretty. Just buy some gloves. I mean, I have to pick up soupy poop water from my frog. It's not the glamorous thing in the world, but it has to be done, because if you don't clean up the bathroom, so much is gonna go wrong. It's first of all just neglect. You can't just leave bathroom in there. Your house is gonna stink. And third, you're gonna get mites and bugs from all the poop gathering. It's just something you just can't look over. Right? Dumpy frogs, they are the messiest in the world. They pee all over their glass. So I'm constantly cleaning. Let me just tell you that. Maybe it's just me because I'm a neat freak, but I'm constantly picking up poop. I'm constantly doing spot checks. I'm constantly buying dirt to refreshen everything. So getting peed on, funky smells, just things you also have to consider, especially if you're going to be keeping your pets in your room. Reptiles can escape their habitat. I mean, obviously you can avoid that, but it is very easy to leave a little crack open, forget to shut the lid all the way, and they can escape and never be found. So, or you can find them eventually, but they are escape artists. It happens. It will be bound to happen. I mean, you're very lucky if that doesn't happen, but I've lost my corn snake that way, so they are escape artists. Be prepared for that. Finding a pet sitter could be hard because not everybody really loves reptiles. I mean, I think it'd be easier to find like a sitter for a bearded dragon than a snake, but you know, finding the right person, a good friend that will be able to check on your animals, give them a little fresh water, maybe even feed them if you're gone. What I am getting at for this video is when you take in any animal, it is 100% your responsibility to give them the best life possible. Your responsibility to do your research, save your money, give them proper lights, proper habitat. But really consider that if you can take the time, they're not easy pets. Although everybody says, oh, they're so easy. No pet is easy. They're gonna need your time. You're gonna need to be passionate about it. Not, you know, buy an animal off the bat just because you want to and you think it's a great idea. Like, those are the worst things to do. Really be passionate, really want the critter you're going to get, and you'll be great. You know me, I always see people just get so into them for like the week and then lose it all because they didn't think of, you know, the money, the habitat, the food, the critter. You know, there's just a lot that goes into it. So please be responsible. These animals deserve it. But yeah, get a reptile. I love them. Just be responsible. They are the best. You just gotta consider a lot of things if they will work into your lifestyle. But if you guys have anything else I forgot to mention, please comment down below. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Be responsible pet owners out there. And until the next time, I will see you guys. Bye.